Hi, everybody. Welcome to Reality Buzz TV, where we talk about all things reality TV shows and all things reality TV show stars. And listen, you guys. So, the second guy that is claiming to have been scammed or sidelined or tricked or robbed by Mseleku when it comes to the show Uthando Nesimbu has done the interview, you guys. And his name is Zakhele Gumede. It's the same guy that had commented on one of my videos that I had done about Musa and Jabesha talking about the same issue. And he had commented and said, listen, I am the Gumede guy that Musa is talking about. I know this story. It is true. And I will tell the story when I find the platform to tell my story. And he did an interview, you guys, at the same podcast that Musa Shabesha was on. And I have to tell you, you guys, that these guys are either very, very good liars because their stories are exactly the same. So they must have, if the people that are saying these guys are lying are right, then that means that these guys sat down for some time and rehearsed this whole story so that when they tell it, it's the same. And when they tell it, it feels true. Okay? Or they're telling the truth. I believe the story when Musa Jabesha told it. I believe it now with Zakhele Gumede telling the story. The interviewer did ask a question that I also wanted to know, which was, we are in season 7 now of Uthando Nesimbu. You are saying that this happened right before season 1. Why speak up now? And also, what are you hoping that is going to be the outcome of you speaking up? Okay. I think the way that he answered the question is more like, listen, this is my story, this is my truth. Whether it takes me a year to feel comfortable enough to tell it, or it takes me 5 years, or it takes me 10 years, it is the truth. Whenever I decide to tell my truth, I'm going to tell my truth. But also he makes a mention of when you are telling something that is not so positive about somebody that is more successful than you, it always feels or looks like you are jealous of that person and you want to bring them down. So people are not likely to believe you. So it shouldn't be a shock that it has taken them so long to actually tell the story, you guys. He also, like Musa Nchabesho says, that he has struggled to watch Uthando Nesimbu. He said he watched, I think, episode 1 only in season 1, and that was it. He was heartbroken about the story every time he sees the show. It's heartbreaking for him. He is hurt by the fact that they worked so hard to get this show on TV. When it finally did, there was no payment for them. There was no even the mention, guys. Like there isn't an interview where Musa Mseleku mentions Zakhele Gumede or mentions Musa and Zabeshe. He doesn't mention them. The wives don't mention them, and obviously they are nowhere in the credits, even for season 1. So I can imagine, you guys. The thing that I cannot imagine is having any kind of negative feelings towards a show that is so big, because Uthando Nesimbu has become so big. It is everywhere. Okay, it's on TV, it's on Showmax, it's on DSTV, it's on Showmax, it's on Facebook, it's on YouTube, it's on TikTok. Everybody's talking about it, especially when it's on season. I can imagine the struggle of trying to stay away from it so that you are not hurt. That must be hard to actually do. But I also think that them speaking up is going to be more hard, or it's going to be harder for them now, because they now have Uthando Nesimbu attached to their name. So in a way, when Uthando Nesimbu trends, then their name, people are going to be in their comment section, because their videos will also come up. We are going to have a new season now, season 8. And when we talk about season 8, some of us will be waiting to see if MaKhumalo addresses this issue on the show. If he ever addresses it, it's going to get back to them. Whatever he says, if he says they're lying, then they're going to be getting the attacks. If he says they're right, then whatever. So if it was difficult to watch the 7 seasons, the next 7 seasons are going to be even more difficult, because there are people that really don't believe that these guys are telling the truth, but I do. But I am still at that place where I feel like I am willing to hear Musa out. I'm willing to hear the members, the family members, what I'm saying, would defend themselves. And then I will also make a decision there if I believe them. Okay. So the story is the same about them coming together and being asked by Musa to put together this proposal so that they can pitch the show for TV. You know, the sequence of the events with Musa and the sequence of the events with Zakhele, Gumede, are the same. And also Zakhele seems to give more details. Okay, listen, you guys, I'm still shocked that the presenter or the podcaster still hadn't watched Return on his Table. At some point, he's trying to remember the name of the show. I'm like, how can you not even know Return on his Table? You should have gone and watched a little bit, you guys. And yes, so now you guys, so the sequence of the events is the same with both the guys, but Zakhele seems to tell a little bit more details in certain areas where almost didn't tell the story. I think the part, you guys, that I think is also disappointing for me as a viewer of Return on his Temple and a fan of the show and a fan of the family is the fact that in this story there is Zakhele Gumede and Musa, but there are also students here from this college that Zakhele worked at who were supposed to be part of producing the show, and they were supposed to learn in the process of producing the show. And there are things that were promised to those students whom at the end of it all, when the deal went bad, they couldn't even, the Mselekos, couldn't even at least give the students what they were supposed to get. So even that part of the deal fell apart. And I think that is even more disappointing because Mseleku has presented himself as this person that is very much about, empowering Black people, young Black people, So yeah, you guys, it's really giving you a different side of Mseleku. Now, you guys, there's another part that Musa doesn't get into when it comes to now a point where they had done the pitch. They were waiting to hear, would see what does what is going to be the response from Mnet. I think that they had met, and then they now had to sit down, and I guess now it was time to do the paperwork. Okay, they had been promised the 2%. Now, guys, listen, they were promised 2%, which means 2 is 4%. Mseleku was still taking a big percentage. Now they were promised that plus the 200,000 rands. Now, you guys, it came to a point where now Mseleku changed and said, listen, my wife, MaCele and MaKhumalo, they want percentages from the company, thanks Ma. Okay. Another thing, you guys, Mseleku had always presented the Thanks Ma situation as if it's the idea that he had long ago, like Thanks Ma Productions. It was almost like the Thanks Ma Productions gave birth to the book and it gave birth to the show. Now, the way that Zakhele is talking about is like when they first started, there was no Thanks Ma Productions. Okay, there might have been a Thanks Ma situation because he already had the cars that were branded with the number plates Thanks Ma, but there was no Thanks Ma production. Like the production company didn't exist at that point, so there was no way that Thanks Ma Productions would have produced Uthando Nesithembu. It's almost like the idea of Uthando Nesithembu is what gave birth to the Thanks Ma production. Okay. So he says that now Mseleku was coming back to them to say, listen, MaCele wants a percentage and MaKhumalo wants a percentage. Now, he wanted that percentage to come from the percentage that he was giving to them, which was a 2%, or he was justifying not giving them the percentage to, he was justifying it by saying that MaCele and MaKhumalo wanted the percentages as well. Okay. Now they say, or Zakhele says that they said that is not a problem. If your wife's want percentages, you can give it to them, but give them from your percentage. Because I'm thinking you're giving me as to you getting what, there's 4%. You're still getting 96%. Am I wrong, guys? If you give your wives you can even give all of the wives you can even give them 5% and then take the rest. So he says that that's what they try to say to him, to be like, it's not a problem, but whatever percentage that your wives want, give it to them from your share. Okay. But yeah, I guess Mseleku had other plans at that point, and he really was just trying to get rid of them. That's how it sounds like to me. I believe these guys, honestly, you guys, it's disappointing to me that as much as Mseleku is not like my favorite person, but I didn't think that he was like that. Okay, that he would do something like that to people. So I guess you guys, when my business deals, like, you have to be brutal. Okay. But I do still feel like there's a chance for them to rectify this somewhat. Okay. I feel like number one, 2% is 2%, guys. Like, it's 2%. But even if he didn't give them 2%, the 200,000 rands, those guys, Mseleku can definitely afford to pay these guys 200,000 rands. Was it supposed to be 200,000 rands each, or 200,000 both of them? Whatever it is, even if it was 200,000 rands each of them, he can pay 200. That's 400,000 rands. He can even say, listen, I'll give you the 200,000 rands that I owe you, and then let's just work it out. I can't give you a percentage now because there's so many other things that they've done after this, and they've done so many other seasons. Let's just negotiate how much the 2% is worth to you. But obviously, we can't really give you the real value. But let's just say, what amount will make you comfortable, and feel like this, I've done you justice. Okay, I know that's not how business works, because in business you're going to be like, listen, I didn't sign no contracts. As long as there isn't any contract, then I don't have to pay them. I don't even have to have a conversation with them. But in the name of Ubuntu, I think he can still rectify the situation by saying, listen, I might have done things differently. He probably has a story to tell too, in terms of how he ended up feeling like it was justified for him to kick them out of the project. Okay, but just to make things right, I think that he could still, just sit down with these guys and say, listen, how do we make it all right now? 7 years later, how can I make it how can I make it up to you now? Okay, that is, if he's willing to admit that he was wrong. Okay, but I would think that his lawyers wouldn't advise him to do that, because if he sits down with them and say, listen guys, how much do I owe you, then he is actually admitting that he owes them. Okay, and maybe they can even use that to now say, the fact that he was sitting down with us wanting to pay us this much, it means that he is admitting that he did have an agreement with us to pay us something. And so then maybe then they can even use that to go to court and get more than maybe he might try to offer them. But I am hoping, you guys, that he realizes that there is a chance that he can still have a conversation with these guys, and at the end of the day, they might not be friends, but at least they can walk away from the show not feeling so betrayed, because right now it just feels like they are so betrayed. I did do a video earlier on today, you guys, where Isoles was talking about Mseleku being admitted in this hospital because he had a stroke. And because we don't have the timing of when the stroke happened, I don't know if that this whole thing going on right now, because there has been a lot going on with Mseleku. We had Uthando Temple, which was a lot, and then after that we had Ingane's Temple, which was a lot. And after Ingane's Temple, like, social media was on fire, especially with him. I don't understand why he manages his own social media, because I feel like it's a lot. The comment section alone is a lot. So, but it looks like he does do his own Instagram, and post himself. If he's answering a comment, it's him answering. It feels like it's him answering. I don't know why it just doesn't just hire someone to actually help him with that. So there's been a lot. So now imagine that with he's still a normal person, so he still has businesses, he still has, work to do, he still has to do with his own personal life. That is not part of the show. Okay, even though we are watching him on the show, his life on the show, but outside of the show they're still doing things. So I can see how your body can react negatively to what's going on around you. But maybe if you just pay this money, sir, it will relieve. Like sometimes you just need like positive energies. Like how they say when you have a nosebleed, ne? When you have a nosebleed, okay, it's physical, obviously, something is going on with you physically. The doctors can explain it. But they also say that when you have a nosebleed, it's because you are feeling unloved. You have a feeling of feeling unloved. So, like, our bodies sometimes react to the stuff. That's what I'm trying to explain. So, you never know. Maybe if you just pay the 200,000 rands, you start feeling better, you know? Anyway, you guys, listen. Okay, I know that part of me feels like they should have just kept quiet because, social media is a lot and other people are just not liking what they're telling. But I'm loving the fact that they're speaking up because if it's the truth, then we need to know, as the public. Umphakathi must know. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like it before Pumegona, share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. Ngithanda kakhulu.